Breaking.
Well, we have some breaking news here. Like, share, subscribe.
It's your new year.
And then when I stop him, they'll say he too small.
Hey, so when I stop him, y'all gonna say he was too weak.
On my mic.
And he stayed at 147.
He would not stop.
Too long.
He would not stop.
Terrence Bud Crawford stops Errol Spence in the 9th round in one of the most highly anticipated fights in years. Both fighters did a great job promoting this fight, going back and forth, but at the end of the day, there can only be one undisputed pound-for-pound king. Errol Spence coming in at the number 4 pound-for-pound, and Terrence Bud Crawford coming in at the number 1 pound-for-pound. So the winner of this fight is undoubtedly the number 1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world, which ended up being Terrence Bud Crawford. The fight was more of a boxing chess match rather than a brutal slugfest, as expected. Terrence Crawford looked to be the more technical fighter. His defense was tight, he stayed more square, and he seemed to be more focused in on the fight, as Errol Spence seemed to not have a game plan once he got punched a couple times. I'm sure he came in with a game plan, but he had no adjustments or no answers for Terrence Crawford. Crawford is a couple years older than Errol Spence, and he seemed to be the more experienced, seasoned fighter, and he seemed to have a game plan, and he really stuck to it. To simply put it, Terrence Crawford dominated Errol Spence Jr. in this fight. The American Southpaws, both previously unbeaten, clashed to crown an undisputed welterweight champion in a bout that was years in the making. Spence, 33, who carried the WBC, WBA, and IBF titles into the T-Mobile Arena, while Crawford, 35, held the WBO belt, and he walked away with all 4. Crawford dominated from the 2nd round, knocking Spence to the ground, flooring him twice in the 7th round in a one-sided contest. He ended the fight in the 9th round with a brutal flurry, as the referee had to step in and confirm a TKO and underline Bud's reputation as perhaps the best pound-for-pound fighter on the planet. Terrence Crawford knocked Errol Spence Jr. down 3 times before finally ending the fight at 232 in the 9th round on a technical knockout to cement itself as one of the greatest welterweights in boxing history. This fight unified the division for the first time in years since the 4-belt era began in 2004. Crawford, 40-0, 31 knockouts, already owned the WBO belt and took the WBC, WBA, and IBF titles from Spence, who is now 28-1. Crawford also ran his KO streak to 11 matches, which is the 2nd longest active streak in boxing. Crawford, 35, has won titles in the super lightweight and the lightweight in addition to the welterweight, capturing the latter after moving up in 2018. The Omaha, Nebraska fighter became the first male boxer to become the undisputed champion in 2 divisions. This victory over Errol Spence really confirms that we are now living in the Terrence Crawford boxing era. He showed to be the more complete fighter overall. Defense looked nice. Like I mentioned, counterpunching, he was the better overall fighter, man. Spence was really bruised and beaten, as you can see in the post-fight press conference. This really cements Terrence Crawford as one of the GOATs. He talked about going up to 154. He would go up to 154 and rematch Errol Spence, but he also talked about a Jamal Charlo fight, which I'm very interested in seeing. That could be a very good fight also. I want you to listen to what both fighters had to say.
Let's talk to Errol. He said he hopes to get the rematch, and he would like to have the rematch at 154 pounds. Are you interested in moving up in weight for the rematch, or does it have to be at 47?
It definitely don't have to be at 47. Like I said, I'm in a hurt business. 47 was kind of hard for me too. I was already talking about moving up in weight and challenging Charlo, so 54 wouldn't be outreach of anything.
Was it even easier than you expected it to be once you were in there?
Never. Like I said, we trained so hard in training camp that it may look easy in the ring, but these fights is never easy. These fights is very extremely hard because we put our body through the most in training camp, and I worked my ass off to get to where I'm at today to perform in front of each and every one of y'all. I even did things that was different this fight. We did a pre-camp, came out to Vegas, stayed for a month, so I've been working for a long time for just this one moment, so it's never easy.
Okay, and now listen to what Errol Spence had to say post-fight press conference after losing all 3 of his belts.
How was this particular weight cut? Was it a very difficult one, or did you feel at ease with the weight cut?
I mean, it's always difficult, but, you know, like I said, I don't make any excuses. The better man won tonight.
One last question. What about Terrence surprised you the most? Was it his timing, his power? What surprised you?
Nothing really surprised me. He was just like I thought. It's just my timing wasn't good today.
Questions for Errol Spence Jr.?
Hey, Errol, Keith Heideck from BoxingScene.com. What do you attribute your timing not being there to? Did you feel off physically or anything, or what was wrong in the fight?
Yeah, felt a little off physically, but most times I get through it. So, you know, I thought it was gonna be just like the other times, but you know, I couldn't kick it up a notch.
Well, we have some breaking news here. Like, share, subscribe.